Hi everyone, welcome back. This is the second part of how to start a car business video, and today we are going to talk about profits. We are going to talk about requirements for a driver and how much money you make and how much money you need to invest in this kind of business. So everything you need to know about this kind of business is going to be covered in this particular video. And today is a very special day because we have a guest who's been into this business for quite some time, and she's going to tell us all we need to know about this business because she's been there on the ground and she knows how things happen. Please stick around because you're going to have the best part of the show, and I hope you're going to get all the information you need to start this kind of business. So yeah, for the very first time we have a guest on this YouTube channel, and this is going to be a very good thing because we are going to get all the details we require for this kind of business. So welcome.
Thank you for having me.
So we are going to talk about, I'm going to ask as many questions as I can, and I hope we are going to answer questions for everyone who is watching this video. So first question, what do you require to work as a driver?
First and foremost, every driver should have a valid driving license. That is one. Secondly, the driving license must have a stamp on the omnibus sector. That's a requirement. And also the driving license must be 4 years plus. Okay. So you just can't apply, you just can't come from driving school, you just apply for taxi business. Okay. Yes, you have to be a qualified driver for more than 4 years.
So they don't consider that someone could have a driving license 5 years old and someone who has a driving license of 2 years has more experience than the one who's 5 years. It's not something they consider.
Not really. You have to have 4 years plus experience.
Okay. Something else, other documents that you require to start?
Okay, you have to have an e-citizen account first of all. And on the e-citizen account, you have to apply for good conduct. Good conduct you apply online via e-citizen, where you print out some forms and answer the printed forms. And you also book a day on which you're going to take the forms to the DCI headquarters along Kiambu Road. And they'll give you what papers you need to print and the number of papers that need to be printed. Okay? So that's it for good conduct. And when you have to present yourself physically, you have to go with your original ID. Some people go with the passport instead of the ID, but sometimes they always insist on going with the ID. So just to be sure, just go with the original ID plus the printed papers.
Okay.
Yes.
So you book online, you then wait for around 4 days?
Yes, you book online, you print the papers, you fill the forms, and you're given the day in which you're going to take the forms physically. And when you're going to take the forms, you have to carry your ID, and the whole process before you get your good conduct, it takes at most 4 days.
Okay.
Yes. Another document required apart from good conduct is PSP license, where you have to have a Teams account. You register for a Teams account and you apply for PSP license via Teams account, in which you have to have some certain amount in your M-Pesa because there's a certain charge for you to apply the PSP license. So once you pay the charge, you're given the date in which you're going to take to pick the PSP license physically, which you pick it at NTSA offices. So you find everything ready.
Okay.
And you also have to carry your ID.
Okay.
As well.
Okay.
Yeah.
What else do you need in terms of applying with Uber?
Okay, once you have those two documents, now you can go to Uber offices where you present your driving license. They have to check your driving license and you have to go with your ID. There's also a charge of 2,000 shillings for you to be a registered driver at Uber. Once they check your documents, they tell you to go home. They're going to send you a code in which they'll call you for training. And training takes just about 1 day, and after that, then you'll be good to go.
Okay.
Yes, but you have to have all the documents. You need to have the good conduct, you need to have the PSB license and the driver's license with the correct stamps. Basically all documents. Once you have that and you pay the fee, then you're good to go.
So is that fee something that you're going to pay maybe monthly, annually?
Not really, it's just a one-off fee.
Okay. How about other taxi apps apart from Uber?
Well, most taxi apps, those are the major required documents, and it's advisable to register yourself with as many taxi apps as possible because it keeps your flow active and it makes you active during the day, because there's some times when you tend to rely on one app, you might stay for quite a while before you get a request. So, and every taxi app has their own rules. Like for example, Little Cab mainly focuses on corporate clients. So for every app, there are rules and regulations in which you have to follow, and which you also have to undergo training for all of them. And it's possible to have like even 4 apps plus on your phone. Yes, and it's also advisable that you use a reliable smartphone, because sometimes in this business, if your phone is disappointing, your work is also disappointing. So you also have to invest in a good smartphone. Yes.
We come to the most interesting part about this. So what are the profit margins? What do you expect to get on particular days, particular hours and such?
Okay, just like any other business, there are good days, there are bad days, but you are assured, depending on your hard work and the time that you wake up, because for the taxi app, there are certain hours, we call them peak hours. That is very early in the morning and very late in the evening. So those are peak hours. And then in between the day, the business is a bit moderate in terms of income. But depending on your hard work, there's someone who is going to earn 2,000 in a day. There's someone who is going to earn 10,000. So it's not, you cannot give a specific amount into which you can earn, but there's a guaranteed amount in which you can't lack at least 10 to 15,000 a week.
Okay.
Yes.
As a driver or as the owner of the vehicle?
So there are 2 options. There is those people we call partners, who are the owner of the vehicles. If you are a partner and at the same time you are a driver, you are at a more advantageous position, because all the amount that you earn belongs to you. But if you are a driver who doesn't have a vehicle, you partner with the owner of the vehicle, called the partner, in which you agree on what amount on weekly basis you're supposed to give the partner. So there's a specific amount you're supposed to give the owner of the car, and after you give him the amount, then the rest is yours. So it all depends on your hard work.
Okay. Yes. For example, as the owner of the vehicle, how much on average do you expect in a month, a good month?
Initially, it started at 50,000, it went down to 12, it went down to 10.
Per week or
Per week.
Okay.
Per week. Right now, given the circumstances and the COVID situation, we cannot really predict as to how much a partner asks for. So it's also a business that you really need to sit down and think of whether it's something that is of profit to you. But I would advise, I would mostly advise, if you want to go into Uber business, at least have your own vehicle. It's more profitable that way.
Okay, so say for example you're the owner of the vehicle and you're the driver as well.
Yes.
So how much do you maybe expect?
You at least you're guaranteed of 15,000 a week.
15,000.
Yes.
So it's around 60,000 a month.
Yes. Now
A guarantee.
A guarantee.
So if you work harder,
Yeah.
it's going to be more.
Yes.
Okay. So what cars are acceptable in this kind of business? If you're thinking about starting this business, what cars do you think about buying? How much do you expect this kind of cars to cost?
Okay, initially, Uber didn't have a limit in terms of cars, provided a car was 1500 cc and below. But nowadays, they've come up with new rules. They prefer cars with smaller cc's. And so you have, before you invest in an Uber business, you have to go to their offices and specifically ask for which cars they prefer being registered as Uber cars.
Okay.
Don't just buy any car and expect that when you go to the offices you're going to start a business. You have to go to the offices and confirm which specific cars, because right now they are very specific on what cars they need for their Uber business.
Okay. So, like, how much, if I was to start this kind of business, how much do I need to invest? Like, how much do I expect to start this kind of business?
For a car, now let's say most of these cars range between 600 to 700,000. That's for the small cars now that Uber requires now, and maybe now for the small amount of the PSV charges, the Uber charges, documents here and there, maybe let's say 710.
Okay.
Yes.
So, what is expected of a driver from the Uber and other apps?
For all apps, discipline is a must. You need to be disciplined in terms of how you handle your clients, how you handle certain situations. Let's say maybe the client has refused to pay, maybe in terms of cash, or wants to pay via M-Pesa. Basically, discipline is necessary. And other thing is that a driver is required to be flexible in terms of location, because sometimes you cannot predict which location your destination is going to take you. So flexibility is also important.
What could happen if a driver misbehaves? What's the worst that could happen?
On the apps, there is a place where a client is supposed to give reviews on how the trip was, and the owner of the app, which is maybe Uber or Bolt or Cab or BTG, whatever app you're replying, they get this kind of feedback. So it's always good to maintain good contact, because clients give feedback. And also, something I forgot. Every time your client gives feedback, there's a place where you give it review, and there's a point as to which, if your reviews don't reach a certain amount, like let's say Uber, you need to have 4.5 and above reviews. If your reviews are below 4.5, your app is closed.
Okay.
So you have to maintain discipline and have good reviews.
So if your customers rate you,
yes, rating is also equally important. Yes, because once you're below the mark that these apps have given, your app is closed.
in terms of profits, is there something special that one can do to get more customers or more requests?
What you do in this business, you have to be creative. You have to maintain a good relationship with the people that you meet, because those are the people who are going to give you the next job. That's why I say discipline is key. So once you maintain, and you also have to be outgoing, and you have to let the clients that you carry, that you can also be reliant on them whenever they need you. So it's a matter of the kind of environment you create with your clients. You have to keep talking to people and telling them to give you more. So you have to be creative.
Okay.
Yes, you don't just sit there and rely on the apps alone. You have to get creative as a driver for you to be able to earn more.
Okay.
Yes.
So have you ever had any bad experience with a client, and how was it?
Yes, I've met all sorts of personalities in the business. So I've learned to study people and how they want to be treated. The people who just enter the taxi, they're full of life, they're jovial. So from that kind of study, you get to pick up on whether you're going to engage with the person. There are people who just want to be quiet, they don't want to be talked to, they just want to get to their destination and go on with their business, which is okay. There are people who are also very inquisitive. They just want to ask questions and know how the business is going, what and what. There are also people who are very, very let me say, I'm looking for the right word. There are people who are, they just want to take control. You see?
Yeah.
So you just have to learn the personality and go with the flow.
Okay.
And you also have to be very patient and not. You have to also have to learn anger management because there are some people who really, some clients who are really going to piss you off, but you have to let go. Because remember, every trip there's a rating at the end of the trip.
Okay.
Yes, so as a driver, you have to learn to deal with people and the different circumstances. Yeah.
And how safe is it for a female driver?
It's actually very safe, though for me, I never used to work at night most of the time, but there are people who do. So in terms of safety, there's a guarantee in terms of safety. Yes.
One final question. Do you have to be there physically to the? Do you have to go physically to the offices to register for this kind of business? Like,
Yes, you have to present yourself physically. You have to. It's a must.
okay. So where are the offices for these different apps? The ones you know at least.
Okay, I know the locations. For Uber, they're at a building called Riverfront at Chiromo. Bolt are on Rafter Road. And Little Cab are along Wayaki Way. I'm yet to remember the name, but they are along Wayaki Way.
Okay.
Yes.
Anyway, I hope this video was very helpful to anyone who is thinking about this kind of business. And I hope I'll see you on my next video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you on the next video.
Bye.